Hello there and welcome to the news at 7 on NTA International. My name is Lami. John Bamidele is the sign language interpreter, and we begin with the headlines. President of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, continues tour of Confederation of Sahel States with a visit to Republic of Niger and Burkina Faso. Canada's Liberal Party elects Mark Carney as its new leader and next Prime Minister. Food Outreach Scheme of Renewed Hope initiative in Kogi State. The President of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, continued his tour of Confederation of Sahel States with a visit to the Republic of Niger and Burkina Faso. Chukunonso Nwabueze reports that the Ghanaian leader had earlier made a similar visit to Mali.
President Mahama arrived in Niamey, Niger Republic on friendship and working visit. He was received by Niger's head of state, Brigadier General Abdulrahmani Tiani, and other high-ranking officials. During his visit, President Mahama discussed the strengthening of bilateral ties, regional security and political cooperation between Ghana and Niger. President Mahama was also in Ouagadougou, capital of Burkina Faso, for a similar visit. He was welcomed at Ouagadougou International Airport by Burkina Faso head of state, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. The Ghanaian president was accorded military honors amid cheers from the Ghanaian community living in Ouagadougou. The two leaders met privately in the VIP lounge of the airport before heading to the presidential palace. On the agenda were discussions on strengthening bilateral cooperation between the two countries, the security situation in the Sahel, as well as sub-regional and international geopolitics. Chukunonso Nwabueze, NTA News.
The United States has declined to review a waiver that had allowed Iraq to buy electricity from Iran without running afoul of sanctions, a U.S. official confirmed. The previous waiver expired on Saturday and the U.S. Department of State did not renew it, the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad said in a statement. The decision came as part of President Donald Trump's maximum pressure campaign on Iran, which is designed to end Iran's nuclear threats, curtail its ballistic missile program, and stop it from supporting terrorist groups, the statement said. Despite its oil and gas wealth, Iraq has suffered from decades of electricity shortages because of war, corruption, and mismanagement, and has become heavily reliant on imported Iranian gas, as well as electricity imported directly from Iran to meet its electricity needs. Power outages are common, especially in the scorching summer months. Many Iraqis have to rely on diesel generators or suffer through temperatures that exceed 50 degrees Celsius. The waiver that expired applied to direct electricity imports. It remains unclear whether Iraq will be able to continue to import gas from Iran from its power plants. The U.S. Embassy statement asserted that electricity imports from Iran were only 4% of electricity consumption in Iraq. Now, Beijing on Monday began the imposition of retaliative tariffs on many farm products from the United States, which China is the largest overseas market. It is the latest escalation of a trade row between the world's two largest economies. The Chinese government announced the tariffs last week, shortly after President Trump raised tariffs on Chinese products for the second time since he took office in January. The Chinese tariffs will include a levy of 15% on U.S. products like chicken, wheat and corn, as well as 10% on products like soybeans, pork, beef and fruits. The Chinese government also said it was blocking 15 U.S. companies from buying Chinese products unless it granted special permission, including a manufacturer of drones that supplies the U.S. military. Under the latest set of tariffs, Beijing will be blocking another 10 U.S. companies from doing business in China. President Trump has contended that tariffs are needed on imports from China, most of which are manufactured goods, to allow the United States rebuild its industrial sector and also to generate tax revenue for the federal budget. The average U.S. tariff on affected Chinese goods now stands at 39%, from 3% when Trump began his his first term 8 years ago. Canada's Liberal Party has overwhelmingly elected Makani as its new leader and the country's next Prime Minister. Chukwunonso reports that the former central banker is tasked with helming Ottawa's response to threats from U.S. President Donald Trump.
The next Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, with 131,674 votes, resulting in...
Mark Carney, 59, who has never held an elected office, won 85.9% of ballots cast in the Liberal Party leadership vote, according to the final tally. Canada's next Prime Minister accuses the United States under President Donald Trump of seeking to take over Canada, an effort he says must be defeated.
He's attacking Canadian families, workers, and businesses, and we cannot let him succeed.
Canadians face from our neighbor an existential challenge, an economic crisis. Canadians are showing exactly what we are made of.
Carney, who will be sworn in as Prime Minister in the coming days, pledges retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods.
We didn't ask for this fight. We didn't ask for this fight. But Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. So the Americans, they should make no mistake, in trade as in hockey, Canada will win.
Carney, who succeeds Justin Trudeau as Canada's Prime Minister, is likely to announce a speedy general election, and although the gap is narrowing with the Conservative opposition, the polls show they are still in the lead. Ahead of his win as the next Liberal Party leader, he hinted that he plans to call an election soon before Parliament is scheduled to resume on March the 24th. It is not yet clear whether the incoming Prime Minister would run as a member of the Parliament in one of Canada's 343 federal electoral districts in that election, or where exactly he will run. The former governor of Bank of Canada and that of England has, however, pitched himself as a strong fiscal manager who can help his country and others navigate challenging times. Chukwunonso, NTA News.
Representatives of the British Embassy were summoned to the Russian Foreign Ministry in Moscow on Monday as two UK diplomats were stripped of their accreditation over alleged spying. The Russian Foreign Ministry said it had received information from relevant agencies indicating that these persons were the British intelligence services. It added that should London escalate the situation, Moscow would investigate a tit-for-tat response. The Russian Federal Security Service, FSB, reported that Alkish Odedra, the embassy's second secretary, and Michael Skinner, husband of First Secretary Tabassum Rashid, had deliberately provided false information when obtaining permission to enter Russia. The Russian FSB has identified signs that said diplomats were carrying out intelligence and subversive work, threatening the security of the Russian Federation. On March 10th each year, the world acknowledges the International Day of Women Judges, a day established by the United Nations General Assembly to recognize and promote the role of women in the judiciary. The observance of the day is not merely symbolic. It serves as a reaffirmation of the principles of gender equality, judicial integrity, and inclusivity within the legal profession. Women's involvement in the judiciary is critical to ensure that courts represent their citizens, address their issues, and hand down sound judgments. By their presence, women judges strengthen the legitimacy of courts, sending a strong message that they are open and accessible to those seeking justice. The day is dedicated to recognizing the contributions of the female judges worldwide. International Day of Women Judges also raises awareness about the importance of women's participation in all levels of decision-making for the achievement of democracy and equality. The International Day of Women Judges was observed for the first time on March 10, 2022. With Together We Thrive as its theme, TJE Day will bring together 2.7 billion Commonwealth citizens across the 56 member countries in celebration of their shared values and pursuit of a common future. Grown from a single day observance to a full week of celebrations. In his message for Commonwealth Day, King Charles III, head of the Commonwealth, said, and I quote, "In these uncertain times where it is all too easy to believe that our differences are problems instead of a source of strength and an opportunity for learning, the Commonwealth's remarkable collection of nations and peoples come together in the spirit of support and crucial friendship. The Commonwealth's ability to bring together people from all over the world has stood the test of time and remains as ever important today." End of quote. Civic education and history will be given the needed attention in the nation's educational system. Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alausa stated this as the 2025 Commonwealth Day celebration in Abuja. Zenret Dingmum reports.
This year's theme, Together We Thrive, aptly portrayed through an array of performance by Nigerian students, highlighting Nigeria's rich cultural heritage and the importance of promoting unity and national interests. The theme emphasizes the need for international cooperation and the pursuit of common goals to secure a brighter future for the 56 Commonwealth nations.
Reaffirming our commitment to the principle of inclusivity, good governance, mutual respect, and upholding other values.
Education is the most important resource for economic development, for sustainable development, and for the foundation to make the country to be more prosperous.
And when we talk about human capital development, we're talking about education, your education, getting quality, high quality education, durable education that will enable you to be useful to yourself, useful to the society, useful to your communities, useful to the country, and useful to the world at large.
By this commemoration, Nigeria reaffirms its commitment to the values of unity, cooperation, and multicultural diversity that define the Commonwealth. Prizes were presented to schools that stood out during the prior quiz competition commemorating the day. In Abuja, Zenret Dingmun, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. Let's take a short break. The news will continue shortly. Do stay tuned.
Have you heard the news? The federal government of Nigeria, through its direct benefit transfer program, has started the disbursement of 75,000 naira per household in 3 installments of 25,000, 25,000, 25,000 naira. Each recipient must have a validated national identification number, NIN, to receive the payment on behalf of their household members. To benefit, your household must be in the National Social Register of Poor and Vulnerable Households in Nigeria. The federal government's direct benefit transfer program is helping to reduce the effect of suffering while promoting financial and economic inclusion for the poor and vulnerable population in Nigeria.
Sunana Safiya Ismail, ni daga Gwagwalada Area Council a karkashin Giri. Ina da yara 7 da mijina. Sana'ana sadda itace. Akwai damuwomi da yawa. Rashin kudi da musanta zaka ga itace zai kare ba kudi ne zaka siya wani an kira ni ayi Safiya Ismail nace yes come for your benefits at Angondo do Gwagwalada suka bani ATM din immediately na withdraw kudi na amma gaskiya kudin ya zo at the right time.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, in collaboration with the National Social Investment Programs Agency, National Social Safety Nets Coordinating Office, and the National Cash Transfer Office.
Now, the Renewed Hope Initiative train is in Kogi State as part of the food outreach scheme to impact on the lives of the vulnerable, and initiatives spearheaded by Office of Nigeria's First Lady to tackle hunger and poverty. Represented by the wife of the Vice President, Nani Shetima, the First Lady reaffirms commitment to uplifting women and vulnerable communities across the country. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
The Renewed Hope Initiative Social Investment Program and Food Outreach Scheme is part of a commitment to alleviate the hardship faced by Nigerians, particularly those impacted by the economic challenges. The arrival of the wife of the Vice President, Nana Shetima, in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital, was a testament to improve the living standards for women and vulnerable groups through such empowerment and food security, which are critical pillars in the Renewed Hope agenda.
Under Renewed Hope Initiative Economic Empowerment Program, we are giving a grant of 200,000 naira for 250 persons with disability to recapitalize their existing small businesses in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory.
As a policy, the state is on quarterly basis distribute food items as palliative to mitigate the impact of economic hardship occasioned by subsidy removal and exchange rate unification.
I want to assure you, Ma, for the total support of Kogi women. We stand ready to partner with you in all endeavors.
I'm presenting these food items for onward distribution for the selected beneficiaries on behalf of our mother.
The initiative remains an avenue to transform lives across the country through various programs in health, education, agriculture, social investment, and economic empowerment. From here, the Renewed Hope Initiative train will be moving to Abia State as the next beneficiary. From Lokoja, Kogi State, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
The new Accountant General of the Federation, Shamsuddin Ogunjimi, has resumed office in Abuja with a commitment to continue reforms that will grow the nation's treasury while ensuring accountability and transparency. Benny Adams reports.
It was all cheer at the Treasury House as Shamsuddin Babatunde Ogunjimi resumed office as the new Accountant General of the Federation. The 57-year-old was initially named Acting Accountant General of the Federation on 10th December 2024. A selection committee later confirmed his appointment through a competitive, rigorous, and merit-based process involving directors of account in the Federal Civil Service. Today, he commits to a much more efficient Treasury House with a call for cooperation of all.
If I fail, every single one of you here has failed. I'm ready to commit myself, my life, to the service of this institution. I'm here. Talk to me. I'm your AGF. Hey!
Ogunjimi began his career in the private sector as an accountant before transitioning to public service in 2000, where he steadily rose through the ranks in various government institutions. Over 2 decades, he held key financial roles, including Chief Internal Auditor at the Nigerian Navy Headquarters, Head of Accounts of the Nigerian Copyright Commission, and senior positions at the Federal Ministry of Police Affairs, the Nigerian Immigration Service, and the National Hajj Commission. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
The National Assembly says it is committed to provide the needed legislative support for the successful implementation of the Blue Economic Policy as encapsulated in the Renewed Hope mantra of the federal government. This re-echoed as an oversight at the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, run by the House of Representatives Committee on Maritime Safety, Education and Administration. Clemens Barakui has details.
Members of the committee on arrival at the academy met with the management before proceeding on a tour of facilities led by the acting rector, Dr. Kevin Okonna. The lawmakers note that the institution is critical to the realization of Nigeria's economic diversification, commending President Bola Tinubu for appointing a governing council for the academy as enshrined in the extant laws establishing the institution.
Let me thank the President of Nigeria, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, for graciously appointing the governing council of these great institutions.
In focus during the oversight visit was the 5% budgetary allocation to the academy, need for increased funding, and the appraisal of the budget performance of the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, ORON.
The budget performance report had been sent to the committee long before today. We went through it. We came here, we asked questions, and we've also gone to see what they've used the money for, especially the areas of capital projects, and we are satisfied.
The guidance and support of the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy to the Academy were also highlighted as the House of Representatives Committee affirmed support to the implementation of all policies and programs that will make Nigeria a marine and blue economic hub. Clement Barikui, NTA News.
According to specialists, a large percentage of Nigerians are said to be blind without knowing. In commemoration of World Glaucoma Week, the Ministry of Health and partners are advocating an increase in awareness about the care of the eye in order to save future vision of the people.
Where is the Minister of Health?
In Nigeria, glaucoma accounts for a whopping 16.7%. So that means over 1 million people are already blind for glaucoma. Have a yearly exam so that your eye professionals can pick up this disease at the early stage, because at the early stage you can actually control this disease and preserve vision.
If we have our own way, we need to go beyond glaucoma to ensure that we save the sight of Nigerians.
Now, the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB, has officially closed registration for the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. According to JAMB, the registration process, which commenced on February 3, 2025, saw a total of 2,030,627 candidates successfully completing their registration. These candidates are now set to participate in the UTME scheduled for April 25, 2025. This figure does not include candidates who registered to take the examination as foreign centers. Additionally, 20,115 candidates have expressed interest in sitting for the optional mock UTME scheduled for April 5, 2025. Among them, 630 candidates have registered for the trial mock examination, which will also take place on the same date. Now, President Bola Tinubu says all the major decisions he has taken in the saddle have been carried out with utmost consideration of future generation of the country. The president said this as he inaugurated the planning committee for the National Youth Conference at the State House. State House correspondent Musbah Wahab brings us the details.
I therefore inaugurate the committee.
President Bola Tinubu is following through his assurance of inclusivity in governance. And this is another major step in carrying along the larger group of a country's population, the youth. The president, who assures that his actions on policies and programs have been in the interest of a future generation, is similarly making another statement here, calling on the youth to come and make contributions to the future they want.
Look at me in the face. Tell me whatever you think is wrong and the way you want this done. Mine is to help navigate and push and lift the heavyweight problems so I can clear the path for you to have a very great future. But it's in your hand. You have the great opportunity of advancing the development of this country. It's all in your hands.
But while he is still at the helm of affairs, the president promises to continue to prioritize decisions that will reposition the country to an enviable status for the generations yet to come.
Every decision that I've taken is about you. It's about tomorrow. When you remove all subsidy, you are protecting the future of generations yet unborn, the youths. When we started, it looked so foggy, dicey, and hopeless. We try hard, and we're drawing water from a dry well. But today, the economy has turned the corner. Prices are falling. Confidence in our economy is improving. Investors are looking in.
You've taken bold actions in fixing our economy.
Apparently tested and now convinced in the ability of their leader to take bold decisions in the interest of the country, the committee is taking this responsibility, hoping for full support of the president.
We call that this is completely insulated from partisanship, and by the diversity of people on the planning committee, it is very clear that the intention is a confab for all Nigerians, irrespective of their geographical or political extraction.
The focus of a conference which this committee is planning for will be anchored on political engagement, economic transformation, education and skills, technology and digital transformation, climate action and energy transition, as well as social cohesion and security.
It's about Nigeria and it's about the future of this country. So I'm appealing to the young people that this is for us. It is not political. This confab is not going to be like the ones that we've held before. This is going to go down to the communities. We're going to have it at the local communities, that is at the state level, before we go to the regional level, before we now come to the federal level.
From the State House, Musbah Nanwahab, NTA News.
And that's it on the news at this time on NTA International. We thank you so much for being a part of it. I'm Lami Ali. Bamidele John has been the sign language interpreter. Do have a good evening.